Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl KaylaJolynn. I just wanted to pop back on today to talk a little bit about my art, and just discuss why I create what I create, why I use the medium I do, what has drawn me to the clouds, and just, a little background, I guess, into that. So starting last year around this time, probably around August actually, I began to submerge myself back into art. I knew that it was what God was kind of calling me to do, so I really had no idea where to start. I just knew I wanted to be around art. I wanted to be around artists. So I decided I would stroll on into a gallery. So I went to this gallery called Firebox Art Studio. It's actually in Carnegie, PA, for those of you who are familiar with Pittsburgh. I walked in there just to, again, be around art, check out, what was out there, be around artists, and just really get to be in the atmosphere that I felt like God was urging me to go back into. So when I first walked in there was just so many, different artists, and there were so many different kinds of art, and it was just awesome. And it was just nice to be around beautiful things. So when I was in there, one of the things I noticed is that I was drawn to a specific type of art, and I didn't even know what it was at the time. I just knew it looked really cool. So I was talking to the owner, and she was explaining that the art that I was drawn to was called encaustic. And for those of you who don't know, encaustic is a form or a medium that you use that is heated wax. It's heated wax that you can use to paint with. Some of it is clear. You can even use colored, but it's like one of the oldest forms of painting and doing art. It's been around for a long time. And that was what I was drawn to. Now, up until this point, I was pretty much just used to either drawing stuff that I liked, I would just sketch things, or work with acrylic, because that was, just one of the most common things that I was used to dealing with. But I did feel this urge to really want to learn more about the wax, so that's what I did. I took a course and just really kind of got more information on what it was, how to use it, how to do it safely, the whole nine. And as I was doing that, in this whole process, I guess I should say, as I was going back to art, I realized that one of the things that I was drawn to besides the wax was the clouds. I was so enamored with the sky. Every time I walked outside, I was always looking up and just so amazed by what God was putting out there. I'm like, Lord, this is your canvas. What color are we working with today? What are we doing today? And every day was just something new. Every day was just beautiful. The clouds were just so amazing to me. And during the season that I was in, where I'm stepping out on faith, I don't really know where I'm going. I don't know which way God is calling me, but I know that, I'm supposed to be doing something with art. The clouds stood out to me because it was my way of saying, Lord, I'm looking up to you. I'm looking up to something that's greater than myself. I'm looking up to something that is, beyond myself, beyond my reach. To believe that God's got me, to believe that even though I can't see the way and I don't know, how this whole thing will pan out, to believe that He knows. So a lot of the images I initially would capture and the work that I would do, it's me in the clouds. It's I had so many pictures, and still do, in my phone of the clouds, a little bit of land, but mainly the clouds, because it was just, again, it was a heart posture of mine, I guess. It was more so saying I know that this is my limited perspective. All I can see is from the ground up. All I can do is look up. Even though I don't know what's beyond, I don't really know what my next step is, I can still look up and trust that God does. So that was the reason why I was you know what? This is my thing. This is what I want to create. This is the subject matter that I want to stick to, was the clouds, in hopes to point other people to God, to point other people to the one who knows, your next step, even when we don't. And as artists, a lot of the times we do not know. You're trying to figure it out as you go, and you're, experimenting and trying new things, but you don't always know or have that next answer, So I definitely figured that painting the sky, capturing the sky, was almost like a form of capturing God's glory. It was like putting Him on display. It wasn't so much about all the other things I could try and all the other things I could display, but it was just this captivation I had because of the season that I was in, and I'm still in, to be honest, of walking this thing out and seeing how it plays out, not knowing necessarily the next step, but trusting that God does. So in my art, you're going to see a lot of clouds. You're going to see from a perspective of looking up to the sky, just being symbolic of looking to something greater than yourself, for answers, for wisdom, for guidance, for creativity. So that's why I like to create what I create. And yeah, I really like it. I just love the clouds. Like every time I walk outside, it's just such inspiration, for one, just to be in nature, but to look up and see these big majestic clouds like billowing everywhere. It's just, dude, it's everything. I love it. And I just want to capture that and put it on the canvas. So that's literally what I do. And with the wax, it's really cool because it allows me the ability to kind of add some texture and add some dimension, which, to be honest, I think that part kind of is like me tapping into the dental side of me. When I worked in the dental field, I helped create smiles a lot of the time. And that base process starts in wax. So whether it was carving the teeth and, you know, shaping the smile, I was working with my hands. It's very tactile. It's very like, you know, I just love that feeling of getting in there. And with the wax, with the encaustic, it gives me that same kind of feeling when I can kind of carve and scrape into the wax, or put layer after layer down and add this dimension and this depth that wouldn't otherwise be there. So I think that, again, was just tapping into my dental side. Also with my art, you'll notice that I like to bring back the colors into the art. So a lot of the time after I put my layers down of wax, I like to go back in and add a little bit more depth and a little bit more dimension with either oil wax or pan pastel, either one. But they both stand out to me, and I love how they look with the wax. So I don't know, but right now I guess I'm partial to the pan pastel. So yeah. But my art is a reflection of my heart posture. My art is a reflection of not having all the answers, you know, not always knowing what that next step is, but trusting that when I look up to the one who does have the answers, when I look up to the one who literally knows my next step and is planning it out so perfectly and so well for me, then I can rest and I can be at peace. So with these cloudscapes that I create, my hope is that those who acquire them can bring that peace into their home. They can bring that awe and wonder into their home, and just enjoy, you know, the calmness of not having to have all the answers, but knowing the one who does. So that's just a little bit about me, a little bit about my art. I'm going to post one more video and just kind of show you guys what I'm talking about as far as the encaustic and how my work looks. So, all right.